Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Derek and HP, Anthony, Nerdy. Good morning, fellas. Trenty, and then there's Exception. Good morning. Good morning. There's 100 people here already. Can you imagine that? There's 100 people here. Pretty darn good for only being on for a minute and 8 seconds. Good morning, everybody. Joe D's. D's boots are made for walking. Shroomy. Good morning, Shroom Digger. Good morning. 100 people, Joe. Good morning, everybody. There's Taylor. Good morning. That's a good one, Anthony. Good morning to the lurker/listeners. We want to call you listeners. Good morning, listeners. Non-commenting listeners. Good morning. Joe, that's just what they'll do. These boots are going to walk all over you. Good morning, Summer. Must love. Good morning, everybody. Sue Little. I love seeing you guys here in the morning. I love seeing you guys here in the morning. We have a neat topic to cover this week. We're going to be talking about comparing ourselves. Good morning, Laura. Do any of you do that? Do you compare yourself to other things? Other people, other things? I know you do because you're human. We compare ourselves. We're going to talk about that, Derek. I wonder if it's a good idea to compare ourselves. We'll cover that. It's going to be a neat topic for this week. Comparing. I think there's a healthy side to it and an unhealthy side to it. I'm with you, Sue. But our culture has sort of programmed it into us until we realize we're doing it. Comparison is not the thief of joy, envy is. That's a good one. We'll be talking about that later today. Self-awareness versus comparison. Nerdy. You can usually tell the people that are self-aware, that can read a room. What's appropriate in this room may not be appropriate in another room. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope your weekend was good. Anybody put a tree up this weekend? Who put a tree up this weekend? Anybody? Or was your tree already up? Or are you going to do a tree? What's going on with trees? I tend to be a Grinch, a little bit grinchy about trees. There you go. It's the right weekend for it, huh, Anthony? Huh, nerds? Herbie's been up since Halloween. Herbie has Halloween ornaments on his Christmas tree. So we did a tree last week too. It was at my sister's house. Of course it was beautiful. Where is that tree? There's a pretty tree. There's a pretty tree. Weighed 88 pounds before the ornaments, and I have no idea after the ornaments and all the bedazzled stuff. I don't know how much it weighs. That's kind of true, right, Greenie? The kids do the ornaments. Sue, did it actually grow? Did it survive and grow? Streety, $120. And you were going to try to do the right thing. You were going to try to do the right thing. Sue, that sounds neat. Getting to see your tree grow like that. That's pretty cool. Streety's out there trying to do the right thing, and they're like, it's going to be 120 plus 20 to put it on top of your car. Then we're going to want another 20 for the stand. And then we'd like 25 because you like us. Nowadays, it's artificial trees for us. Nowadays, it's artificial tree for Christmas. We should do a poll sometime. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're closing in on Christmas. Hit the like, share, and subscribe, and your tea tree will thrive. I like that, Goaty. Jesse's already done. Jesse's treed up, presents wrapped under the tree. And they're already making cookies for Santa. Nice. Nice. I haven't done any Christmas shopping yet. You know that? Is it your failure, or is it the tree farm's failure, Streety? It could be. It could be the tree farm. I doubt you're failing. Good morning. Prices are pretty crazy, right? And we're just trying to hang on to some of that nostalgia. Hang on to some of the spirit. Excuse me. Good morning, Tony. I see you. Rodman and Lynette. And Greenie and Mr. Phillips. I see you guys. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Vegas, no tree, no room. I don't mind a Snoop tree. A Snoopy tree? Give me 5 people that think Snoopy trees are acceptable nowadays. Used to be a while we didn't. There was no, you can't do that. And now, kind of a Snoopy tree will work. Am I right? One little ornament hanging on it. I don't mind a Snoopy tree. A Charlie Brown tree, is that what it is? Charlie Brown tree. Okay, Charlie Brown. HB's like, Pops, I got a Snoop tree. Snoop tree's a little different, right? Snoop trees you probably smoke. Now that I'm thinking about it. Good morning, Cleanie. Good morning, Cleanster. Greenie, I think you can get away with Charlie Brown trees now. Wah, 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 wah. The adults. The Charlie Brown adults. I love how they talk. Nerdy's bah humbugging. I get it. I'm a little grinchy. I'm a little grinchy about how they commercialize. I like to make my presents for the people closest to me. Make them. It's going to be an interesting Christmas. It sure is cold. Still cold here. Sun's out, but it's freezing. You guys still freezing out there? Well, let me tell you a trick. Just in case you ever get buried under snow by an avalanche, just in case that happens to you. Oh, I know, Herbs, it's coming fast. Going to be a huge cold front coming through. How would you like to be up where Billy D and some others are, Washington and Oregon? They're getting a river of rain coming over the top of them. It's going to sit there for 3 days and just pour on them. Streety, I think Charlie Brown's tree is just about perfect too. You and I. If you get buried under snow by an avalanche, spit and saliva will follow gravity. So dig the opposite way. So do a little spit, watch which way. Oh my goodness, I gotta go that way. You could be in like this, and you're like, uh-oh, which way do I climb out? It's a pretty good one. I wonder if they teach that in ski rescue class. If you ever get trapped, you just drooled over that fact too. If you ever get trapped underwater in your car, use your car's headrest to break the window. It's a pretty smart one. Pop it out, use the metal prongs to break the window. That's a good one. How about if you get kidnapped, what do? If you ever get kidnapped and they tie your hands together and they put tape over your mouth, lick the tape. It will eventually fall off and you'll be able to yell for help. Lickaroo. Licky the Lickaroo Lickers. If you're ever attacked by a swarm of wasps or bees, this one's kind of dumb though. I do not carry hairspray around in my back pocket outside where I would be attacked. But it tells me to use hairspray to immobilize them. Great. So if you're attacked when you're combing your hair in the morning, okay? Otherwise, this is a useless rando hacko. Okay? Who carries hairspray around with them to immobilize the potential wasp or bee? Okay? What do? Have it clipped to your belt with your utilities? Your Batman belt? When you call 911, the first thing you should always say is your location. Damn it, I forgot my Aquanet. Ouch. And Jesse's girl's butt pops, you'd be surprised. When you call 911, the first thing you should always say is your location. They immediately send police when they have an address. Address first, before you tell your name or why you're calling. Give them your address. Okay? Boom, like that. It's pretty good advice right there. Don't bog them down with the details of who you are or why you're calling yet. Give them your address right away. Last time Lynette called 911, it took 25 minutes for anyone to show up. That's a long time. I was talking with my brother over the weekend, over Thanksgiving weekend. Fire department. The fire department demands, they have a metric that they keep. From the time the alarm comes in to the fire department, this is Los Angeles Fire Department, they have 4 minutes to get to the address that they're responding to. And it's all computerized checked. And they know this is exactly how long it takes to get down the pole or to get into their gear. This is how long it takes for the truck and ladder to pull out of the driveway. This is how long it took for us to drive there. And they break it all down into segments so they know which segment is it that they're the weakest at. And they practice, individual engine houses practice being faster at the segments they're the slowest at. So they have a 4-minute time frame that they're supposed to respond. Anything greater than 4 minutes, a report goes to headquarters and they look into it and like, what happened there? It's pretty good. Supposedly, Los Angeles Fire Department has one of the fastest response times in the world. But it's because they focus on it. That's his whole point. We practice that. We break it down into metrics and measure each section of the response. And if there's a place we can shave off 5 seconds, 6, 7 seconds, then that's what they do. Pretty good. Pretty good idea. Not sure if you're in a bad neighborhood. Not sure. Plate glass means you're in a good one. Plate glass with bars mean you should leave before dark. And if you see plywood, leave immediately. Wow, exception, that's terrible. Sent to voicemail. I guess Detroit's fire department needs to learn something from Los Angeles fire department. That's terrible. Any working cell phone, regardless of whether it is in service or not, will call 911. Even if you haven't paid the bill, you can still call 911. That's streety. Just kiss your ass goodbye. That's funny. If you're on a road trip and you can't pay for a motel, park at Walmart and sleep in your car. They won't kick you out. I think that's an old one. I think Walmart does now. I've seen them with their little security car drive around and tell people to leave. I don't think Walmart's that cool anymore. It used to be. You could pull into a Walmart parking lot with your RV and park, and they didn't bug you because they thought, well, these people might be shopping here. They'll probably come in and shop and get some stuff for the road. But I think that's an old hack. I don't think Walmart lets us do that anymore. I think they're like, get out. You want to hear a crazy one here? In Kerrville, during the eclipse, they asked MVP and Kim to leave. They asked you. That's nice. Well, at least they asked. Drinking helps fight against radioactive poisoning. If there's a radioactive leak in your neighborhood, get drunk. The only survivors of Chernobyl were drunk at the time. What? And they got fired from their job. They got fired for too much vodka. Okay. So you won't have a job, but you'll have survived. That's pretty crazy. Who's drinking at a radioactive plant? At a reactor, a nuclear reactor? Who is doing that? Herbie finds it hard to believe that there's any drunk Russians. Let's not stereotype, Pops. Okay. If you ever get stuffed in somebody's trunk, the trunk of their car, disconnect the back light wires. When a cop pulls them over or you're at a red light, kick the door so that people know you're there. What door? You mean the trunk? I like the idea of getting them busted because their taillights aren't working. That's a pretty good idea. Disconnect the taillights and pray for a cop. Sir, do you have anything in your trunk we should know about? Okay. Look for a trunk release latch to it. Most of them do have that now, don't they, Sue? Most have trunk release latches. I don't even know where mine is. Well, I have an SUV. It's not really a trunk. But I think Sue's right. I think they have release situations now. Out of candles? Are you out of candles? A crayon will burn for up to 30 minutes. Just drop a crayon in there. Craziness. How about this one? How about this one? On a homemade camping lamp. Homemade camping lamp. Strap a headlamp, you know the kind that you wear, the elastic one that's got a little headlamp right here. Strap a headlamp to a gallon jug of water. Your tent will fill up with ambient light. That's a pretty good one. I made myself a camp lamp. That's a pretty good one, huh? Some of you hunters and foragers and campers already knew that one. I like that. You're already going to have water with you. Jessie Girl says it works. You're already going to have water with you. When we go fishing, we wear headlamps just like that. We got ourselves a camp lamp. I like that one. Let me end it with that one. That one was pretty good. Those are all survival hacks. Give me 5 people that liked the survival hacks this morning. Wasn't too bad, huh? Survival hacks. We'll do some more hacks this week. I like doing the hacks. All kinds of interesting ways to just stuff to learn, right? How many of you are here? Is there anyone here from New Jersey? Any New Jerseyites here this morning? Not me. I'm California and Michigan. But I think one or two of you, a couple of you out there might be from New Jersey. Taylor, I have kitchen hacks too. I can do those this week. Cooking hacks is, I think, what they are. New Jersey is getting real interested in legalizing psilocybin. They're getting interested, you guys, and we got to be interested with them. Would you look at, I'm going to read a quick little article. You ready? New Jersey, you're getting ready. Everyone, please pray for Dawn. And this week we have a difficult situation on our hands. Dawn Zamaron. When we see Dawn here, it's usually Mark, and he is using her screen name. It's Marky Z. So Mark's asking for good thoughts and prayers headed out towards Dawn Z. I'll be for sure doing that here shortly, Mark. Okay? It's both of you this morning, the two of you. It's the pair. Sounds good. I love to see married couples involved. I believe marriages get stronger when you practice the 4 agreements together. I don't think that's too hard to sell that idea to someone. Okay. Looks like a lot of people are saying good things to Mark and Dawn. Thank you, guys. Herbie, your wife watches too? I would have not known. We don't care much about your wife. Not that you have to, just observation. But Lynette is saying it. Hello, Mrs. Herbie. That's cute. New Jersey. Would you look at that? New Jersey lawmakers advanced a psilocybin therapy bill last week. But not without someone asking a question we will probably be hearing a lot more often. Question is, why bother if the FDA is about to approve psilocybin anyways? That's a fair question, to be honest. After all, Compass Pathways says Comp 360, its proprietary psilocybin formulation, could be approved for nationwide use as early as late 2026. Compass Pathways, you guys, is still in the game in research and development. Side note from Pops, of the psilocybin companies out there, Compass Pathways is probably your safest investment, and it's already showing returns in dividends. If you were feeling like being an investor, take a hard look at Compass Pathways and look at its last 3 to 4 years of performance. And they will totally be around for the next few years because of their funding. They also are doing an enormous amount of lobbying. They're all over Washington, D.C. trying to get stuff legalized. Here's what's missing from the perspective. Comp 360's approval, which by the way isn't guaranteed, would be limited to treatment-resistant depression. New Jersey's plan, however, like Oregon and Colorado's before it, does not depend on a specific diagnosis. Plus, these state-regulated models, wait for it, these state-regulated models use natural mushrooms, not synthetic. That matters to people who'd rather their medicine come from the earth than from a pharmaceutical lab. New Jersey's Assembly Health Committee ultimately did vote to move forward with creating its own $6 million psilocybin program, complete with licensed service centers, facilitators, etc. If the bill goes all the way, then maybe, just maybe, the people of New Jersey won't need to fail 2 different kinds of antidepressants just to qualify for healing. Interesting. That was a nice prayer from Joe. Nice prayer from Joe. I was looking at topics to cover this week, and I had a couple of friends over this weekend. Drop by. And the conversation turned very quickly, the conversation that we were having. I kind of laid back because these were guests and I didn't want to attack their points of view or their perspective. I just was going to be a listener this weekend. And I did. And the majority of what was talked about was comparing things. Comparison. I have, but he doesn't. She has this and I don't. Mine is bigger. Yours is better. Comparison. At the end of the day, the conversation was really materialistic. It was not about relationships, but about things. And I got to thinking, this comparison, first of all, our society, culture, virtually teaches us to compare. I'll give you a perfect example. I do it here almost every day. It's a small form of comparison. It's the under the sheets where you don't really realize you're doing it, but you are. Yeah, it's a big pissing contest, Kim, and we fall into it. I compare just when I drive down the street and I see a billboard and a guy on the billboard has something I don't have. One of the ways I use comparison here almost every day is in the likes that we receive. Now I know my heart, and that it's not about my ego. I remember when it was. The more people that push the like, the cooler I am, the better I'm doing. I used to feel that way very early when I first started with IG and then YouTube. I don't compare myself to other people, but I compare myself to myself now. Again, I've told you guys this 100 times. My sister She virtually gave me the code to cracking my personality when she told me, you let other people keep your score. You let other people keep your score. You don't have an strong internal compass of your own. And your compass will swing in whatever direction you're getting the most points. That's a fatal form of comparison. I'm comparing the different things that I can get attention for and then flowing towards those rather than being authentic. Comparison can be deadly. Let's discuss it a little bit. Comparison. We're gonna, excuse me, I made a bunch of notes from another book that I'm reading. And then I also have Brene Brown's book right in front of me, Atlas of the Heart. So I have some notes and I have some of the stuff that's in her book talking about comparison. There's somebody that uses this example for comparison. Are you ready? This is not me, by the way. I'm not much of a swimmer. I barely passed water survival in boot camp. Barely. I'm not much of a swimmer. And in surfing, thank goodness I had a board to hang on to. But listen to this idea. Swimming is the trifecta for me. Exercise, meditation, and alone time. When I'm swimming laps, you can't call me or talk to me. It's just me and the black stripe. The only thing that can ruin a swim is when I shift my attention from my lane to what's happening in the lanes next to me. It's embarrassing, but if I'm not paying attention, I can catch myself racing the person next to me, or comparing our strokes, or figuring out who has the best workout set. When I go into comparison, I completely lose the meditation and alone time I need. And I even once hurt my shoulder trying to race a 20-something-year-old triathlete in the next lane. Not only do you lose your center when you're comparing, but you can actually get hurt. Comparison is not exactly an emotion, but it drives all sorts of big feelings that can affect our relationships and our self-worth. More often than not, social comparison fails outside of our awareness. Excuse me, I'm going to say that again. I misread that. More often than not, social comparison falls outside of our awareness. We don't even know we're doing it. More often than not, it's so embedded in us now, as humans and in our commercial society. It's so embedded in us, half the time we don't even realize we're doing it. This lack of awareness can lead to us showing up in ways that are hurtful to ourselves and others. All of the experiences in this section are connected to comparison. And the goal is to raise our awareness about how and why they happen so we can name them, think about them, and make choices that reflect our values and our heart. We're going to start with comparison and then get into more specific experiences. Excuse me, I see some of you guys out there celebrating Indiana beating Ohio State. Woohoo! I loved it. I'm not an Ohio State fan because I'm not allowed to because I live in Michigan. They kick you out of the state if you're an Ohio State fan. They just do. They take your car and your license and they lock you out of your house. So, anytime Ohio State loses, it's a good thing. Well, in Indiana, what a team this year. I gotta tell you, Texas Tech's killing it too, Kim. I gotta tell you though, you'll notice how much of its leadership. Why do certain programs just fail and fail and fail for years, decades, and then all of a sudden, they're soaring to the top? Don't tell me coaching doesn't matter. Don't tell me quality leadership to young men and women isn't super important. Quality leadership. Molding those young boys and girls into the adults that they're going to be. Let's get back to comparison. I was just comparing. Researchers Jerry Soules, Renee Martin, and Lad Wheeler explain that comparing the self with others, either intentionally or unintentionally, is a passive social phenomenon. Did you hear that? There you go, Stan. I'm comparing women to men. You'll notice most comparisons are linear too. Linear. Good, bad. Win, loss. Black, white. Man, I'm trying my best in my older ages now to not live linear anymore. And yet I find myself doing it because I raised in a linear society. But anytime I love the idea of being self-aware, and I can name what I'm experiencing, and I can choose to stay in that experience or to rocket myself out of it. When I think of myself and when I'm aware that I'm thinking linear, I try to stop. It's either intentionally or unintentionally a passive social phenomenon. And how we perceive our standings, our rankings with these comparisons can affect our self-concept, our level of aspiration, and our feelings of well-being. I'm rich. I'm poor. What is poor, anyways? Is poor only measured today by money? I know a lot of rich people that are poor. I do. I wouldn't say a lot, because I don't hang around too many rich people anymore. But I did. They were poor in spirit. They were poor in self-image. But they weren't poor, they were very rich in narcissism. They were very rich in boasting. Poor. Let me see if I can find something. One second. I don't do religion here. I certainly usually don't turn to the Bible for references when I'm speaking with you guys. But there's a parable that has been stuck in my mind for the last few, I would even say months. And it becomes cogent. It becomes something that I think about often. Would you guys find it offensive if I read the parable to you? Would you guys find it offensive if I read a parable to you? Parables are a really neat way to tell a lesson. Okay, I'm gonna read this. I hope I'm not trying to offend anybody here. But check this out. And he looked up and he saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow putting in 2 mites, little pennies. So he said, truly I say to you that this poor widow has put in more than all. For all these out of their abundance have put in offerings. But she, out of her poverty, put in all the livelihood she had. The parable of the widow's mite. It tells of a poor widow who gave 2 tiny coppers coins, 2 mites, into the temple treasury. All she had to live on, leading Jesus to declare her gift greater than the large sums given by the rich, because she gave sacrificially from her poverty, demonstrating true generosity and devotion, not just abundance. I guess I'm comparing those two. Why I segued to that parable is, who was the richer person there and who was the poorer? Who was the richer person there and who was the poorer person? Who's more spiritually centered? We use comparison not just to evaluate the past and current outcomes, but we also use it to predict future prospects. This means a significant part of our lives, including our future, are shaped by comparing ourselves to others. I've collected data on comparison for years, starting with the research that informed The Gifts of Imperfection. That's a great book, by the way. Guidepost number 6 in the list of guideposts for wholehearted living is, listen, cultivate creativity and let go of comparison. What? Why? Comparison is a creativity killer. When we compare, we're killing creativity. Oftentimes we compare and we can't measure up, so we don't try. Comparison is a creativity killer. Comparison causes us just to follow along the crowd. Go along to get along. Here's a definition of comparison. Comparison is the crush of conformity from one side and competition from the other. It's trying to simultaneously fit in and stand out. If you're in the process of comparing, you're both trying to fit in and stand out. Comparison says, be like everyone else, but better. Wow. Wow. That's the message of our society to us. Run around and be like everyone else, but be better. Compete, compete, compete. And without self-awareness, you're the rich guy up front giving it all away so everybody looks at you and thinks, wow, what a great guy. Look at everything he gave away. But it was out of your abundance. They don't see the little lady in the back because they're looking forward at you. They don't see the lady in the back that snuck in, drops 2 little copper coins, said a gorgeous prayer, and went about her business. Probably hungry. Be like everyone else, but better. At first, it might seem that conforming and competing are mutually exclusive, but they're not. When we compare ourselves with others, we are ranking around a specific collection of alike things. We may compare things like how we parent with families who have totally different values or traditions than ours. But the comparisons that get us really riled up are the ones we make with the folks living next door, or on our child's soccer team, or at school. We don't compare our house to the mansions across town. We compare our yards to the yards on our block. The example of swimming. The swimmer says, I'm not comparing myself against Katie Ledecky's times. I'm just interested in beating the stranger in the lane next to me. When we compare, we want to be the best or have the best of our group. The comparison mandates, and it becomes a crushing paradox of fit in and stand out. Crushing paradox. It's not be yourself and respect others for being authentic. It's fit in, but win. I want to swim the same workout as you, and I want to beat you at it. I see it a lot on our posts on IG. I'm guilty. Have been. Why do I only show the pictures of my biggest and best mushrooms? Why don't I show you the aborts? Why don't I show you the contaminated cake? Now the truth is I don't do any of them anymore because I've stopped showing things like that on IG because of the censoring. I wish I was as honest as you guys are, something to aspire to, Sam. I wish that was my general motive. But if I look at myself, it's usually to show off. It's usually to compare mine to yours. Bet you can't grow one like this. It's rarely do I post something that I think I did something fantastic to try to inspire someone else. I'm usually doing it to show off, to win. So I'm changing that. I'm changing that in my life. I truly am, because I'm becoming aware of it. When I compare myself to other people, I'm actually dragging both people down. I'm limiting myself. I'm thinking of that other person just in linear terms, not in the greatness and the authenticity of who they are. I'm changing that way of thinking. It's a practice that I'm in. Many researchers talk in terms of upward and downward comparisons. Linear. Up, down. Upward and downward comparisons. Most of our comparisons are in that direction. Specifically, Alicia Nortje writes, when we engage in upward social comparison, we compare ourselves to someone who is perceived to be performing better than we are. In contrast, when we engage in downward social comparison, we compare ourselves to someone who is perceived to be performing worse than we are. The direction of the comparison does not guarantee the outcome. Both types of social comparison can result in negative and positive effects. Most of us assume that upward comparison always leaves us feeling not enough. And downward comparison makes us feel better than. But Frank Fujita writes, social comparisons can make us happy or unhappy. Upward comparisons can inspire us or demoralize us. Whereas downward comparisons can make us feel superior or depress us. In general, however, frequent social comparisons are not associated with life satisfaction. If we're in the process of comparing, we're not living authentically. Frequent social comparisons are not associated with life satisfaction. It is also not associated with the positive emotions of love and joy. But more often, and the often that I'm talking about today, more often, social comparisons are associated with negative emotions, fear, anger, shame, and even sadness. Well, I just don't measure up. I don't have as much. They have more. I'll never get there. Now you're living a life outside of yourself. The research shows important findings because regardless of the different outcomes, In the end, comparing ourselves to others leads to those four things. Inevitably, fear, anger, shame, and sadness. Here's what makes all of this really tough, though. Many social psychologists consider social comparison something that happens to us. From this perspective, when we are presented with another person who is obviously better or worse off, we have no choice but to make a social comparison. It can be hard to hear an extremely intelligent person on the radio or see an extremely handsome one at tea. I'm sorry, in the grocery store. Or participate on a panel with an expert without engaging in social comparisons, no matter how much we would not like to. Even if we do not choose whether or not to make a comparison, we choose whether or not to let that comparison affect our mood or self-perception. So inevitably, I'm still making comparisons just by being a member of society. What am I doing with those comparisons? What am I doing with the data that I perceive? When I see a guy more handsome than me, what do? Call myself ugly? Kick myself out of the store? Or do I just recognize it's a handsome guy? Boop. Especially in comparison to me. Big deal. When I see someone skinnier than me, this is the death knell for people that are overweight. They're comparing themselves. They're comparing themselves to society's idea of beauty and a good shape. And in that comparison, they're going to live a life of misery. And so what do you do when you're miserable? Just keep on eating. Because you compared. Comparison leads to addictions. We're always going to compare. It's what do we do with the data that we receive from comparing? Do we take it in and follow the second agreement or violate the second agreement, take it personal? Comparison tells us if there is comparison happening, don't take it personal. Celebrate that person has something. That's wonderful. I'm glad for them. What a beautiful mushroom. It's bigger than anything I've ever grown. Not, well, I'm going to show them mine next. I don't want to live a life like that. Give me 5 people that agree. We know we compare, but we know we can compare with an attitude of kindness and love. We can flip the script. I don't want to live a life that's got me comparing myself to things that I'll never get to. Sometimes I feel like saying, I dare you to compare yourself to me. And now I'm over competitive. And now I've lost my center. And now I'm not going to meditate very well today. Is this a good topic, you guys? We got a little more to cover on comparison. We'll cover it tomorrow. But comparison is not a healthy thing. What's healthy is when we're aware of what we're doing because we're programmed to it, and we choose to use that data in a positive, kind way. Comparison. I like the subject. I was turned on to it this weekend when all I heard was the comparing between people, and you know what? Most of them, they weren't even listening to each other. They were just talking about what they had, what they did. All of the lollies. And I'm like, I'd rather talk about how you feel. I'd rather talk about who do you volunteer your time with. I'd rather talk about service. And now you get crazy. Well, I serve more than you do. By comparison. No. Family member. I'll tell you guys about this person. My family member. Trying to get, not trying, but is in the process of getting sober. We walked into the rooms of AA recently. I walked in to support this person. It'll be easier for you to go if somebody goes with you. Come on, let's go. Find a meeting around us. Let's get in the car, let's go. So we did. And after the meeting, a bunch of people flocked around this person because that person had admitted I've got 24 hours clean and sober. Okay? A bunch of people, I'm not kidding you. This group was really, really special that we went to. I'd say 5 or 6 people flocked to this person afterwards. Glad to see you here. Keep coming back. It works. If you work it, take my phone number. Let me get you a book. Trading phone numbers on the phone. Doing all of this wonderful stuff to support the new person that had just walked in the room. That person that had walked in the room, I went to the first, because I was there for long enough. I went every day for like 5 days in a row with this person. Get them in, get them involved, or comfortable. I received a text last night. I've just hit my 38th meeting. And it had only been about 20 days from day one. I just hit my 38th meeting. Can I get a round of applause for that? Nobody's going to compare. Boy, this person's really doing more. This person's doing less. This is the... Just celebrate how amazing that is. Without any comparisons. Just hit their 38th meeting. They're going to 3, sometimes 3 and 4 a day. Well, I'm unemployed. I don't have anything else to do. Right now, my job is to work on my sobriety. You can't compare yourself to somebody that's trying. You can just look at what they're doing and love it. We don't compare ourselves to people that are trying. We just support them. Does that make sense? Super duper proud without comparison. Let's have a great day, you guys, today. When you find yourself getting ready to compare, Take a step back and ask yourself why you're doing it. I can buy what you just said. Comparisons, the best comparisons are the ones that give you inspiration. There are some. There definitely are. We'll touch the positive side of comparison here tomorrow as well. Have a great morning, you guys. 4 things. By the way, okay, well, be impeccable with your word and your actions. Help the suffering. Drop your 2 coins in the back and don't let anybody see. Just do the best you can there. That old widow, she was impeccable. Don't take things personal. That's where comparison will come in and it'll hurt you. Especially if what your goal looks unattainable. Don't take anything personal, just keep grinding. You'd be surprised how far you get with just grinding. And it's exponential. Your grind starts like this, and next thing you know, it's like this. And it's like that. Starts with the first step. 3rd, don't make assumptions or expectations. That's part of the death knell in comparison. I'm assuming in the midst of a comparison. And do your best. Always, always, always do your best. I'm going to scroll you guys out of here. I had a good day today. We'll get back on it tomorrow. Didn't feel wonderful when I woke up this morning. A little sick from the weather and stuff. But I said, you know what? I'll feel a whole lot better after tea. And sure enough, a cup of tea with you guys, and I definitely feel better. I'm ready to attack my day. Thank you. Honestly, thank you for giving me an opportunity to feel better in the morning and go attack my day. That's what I'm going to do. Kimberly, one day at a time. That's it. Jesus Christ in Australia. Anthony Hunt and XRUT Region. Thank you for being here. Sam and Mike Barabal and Derek Anderson and Mike and Aaron and XR and Sue Little and Anthony Hunt and Zozo LSD and Lynette. Good morning. Joe D's and Herbie Von Werby, Cabroken Furby Kabab. Aaron and Trenterson and Jesus Christ in Australia. Sam likes to inspire themselves. I like it. Anthony, thank you. Derek, my man. Joe D's and XR. That was wonderful. Jesus Christ and Sue Little Mike Barabal. Jesus and Vaggie, have a wonderful day. You little Gumby giver. Vegas sent a cute little Gumby stuffed animal to Ruff. I'll show you guys this week. I'm playing with it. He loves it. Derek Anderson, Mike Barabal, Jesus Christ. Dawn and Mark Z. Dawn, prayers for you. Anthony, Michael Patterson, Sean T, Sam, Sammy P, Sue Little Cleanie, Mike and Jesus and Kim. Start your week off with a little kindness and then finish it with the same. Excuse me, a little bit of sickness going on. Joe D, Sarah Bear, want to hug her. Vaggie and XR, thank you. Nippy and Patrick Pachoka. Thank you for being here. Mike and Jesus and Taylor. An exception, have a great day. Shroom Digger and Sammy P and Aaron. And Meals Swain. Mealish Swine. Sue Little and Cyber Jolie. Michael Patterson, the best part of waking up is tea with pops. Mike Barabal, Taylor, Sarah Bear, Lynette, Mr. Phillips, Susu, Derek, Sir D. Anderson, Notorious Skate, Donnie and Marky and Jesus and Laura, have a divine day. And then Vaggie and Donnie and XR and Joe D's, Mikey, Notorious, Wizzy the Wizzy Wazzo, sometimes known as Wazio, with that gorgeous hair, Lynette, Oreo, good morning Oreo, have a great day. Don and Joe and Derek and JoJo and Jesus and Oreo and JoJo and Headbuster. Pops, peace, love, share. Give goodness. Give all the goodness you have. Watch how much comes back. Planting. Have a great day. Practice the 4 agreements.